Okay, we are live now. Hello and welcome back to Blab2Learn on an amazing Wednesday in Bangalore. We had nice rains, uprooted trees, and awesome.
Ooh.
Right. So there we are. So we have today Aadil joining us. Aadil has been. I have been connected with Aadil for a long time, and he is someone whom I know as one of the prominent figures and his authority on social HR, as I would term it. So that's a very short introduction of Adil from my side. What I'll do is I will hand over to Falguni to just continue the introduction, and then we move to Adil to give us a formal introduction. Over to you, Falguni.
Yeah, thanks, Mallar. Hi, Aadil. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Is my voice echoing?
A little, but okay.
Yeah, even I feel so. Yeah.
We can start up. That's all right.
Okay. So, hi, Aadil. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. And in fact, I got to know we are connected on Twitter and now we are of course connected on LinkedIn. And I was amazed to see your designation, social media evangelist. So I'm sure everybody is looking at HR and everybody is looking at how social media is impacting HR today. Would be gaining a lot from your views today. So as Mallar said, he is from Bangalore. A rainy day he has just experienced. And I'm Falguni teaching in MICA. I teach advertising strategy. And today we had a record break 50 degrees in Ahmedabad. So I have survived the 50-degree heat and I'm here for Blab2Learn. So over to you. Maybe first thing I want to ask is, if you can properly explain your designation and what you do as a social media evangelist to our participants.
Yeah, sure. So thanks so much, Malhar and Falguni, for having me. Pleasure to join you on Blab. This is my first Blab, so I'm really excited as well. So the designation evangelist really is about being the voice of the community when it comes to recruiting, modern age tech, HR. Really go out there and help people hire great talent and help the guys back at the business. A startup that I work for called Tranforming, where we're trying to change the game when it comes to recruiting, bring that voice back to the community, and really make sure that there is sync between what we're trying to bring at the same time what the community wants.
So that's great. So if you look at the topic that you've given us, how social media and new age HR is evolving, if you can tell us how in general you see social media impacting the field of HR and recruitment.
Sure. Do you hear as much echo as I do?
Yeah, even I'm suffering.
I guess.
Okay, cool. No, I think I figured. So if I basically when I'm speaking, if I mute you, then I don't hear the echo. And you could try that potentially. So what I'm doing is I'm going to mute you now and then try and speak for the benefit of everyone who's hearing.
Yeah.
Cool. So today, my intent is really to talk to you about a specific part of HR, and that's really talent acquisition. Because HR is huge, and you could have hours and hours of conversation about it. But rather, let's attack a specific pain point, which is talent acquisition. And recruiting, which is one of the biggest challenges for CHROs and CEOs alike, because without people, you can't do stuff. And I love this quote which I read on the internet. That people bet on people and not on strategies. I mean, sure, you have strategies, but you don't have people who's going to create those strategies and execute those strategies. So a lot has been changing when it comes to the field of recruiting. Especially what's changing is two things. One is the world has these two trends. One, time to hire is on the rise, and two, recruiting costs are escalating. So if you look at AFR study, which recently came out, they're saying that time to hire has gone up by as much as 68 days. So right from the time a requisition is raised till the time you make an offer to someone, it takes on an average, the world average is 68 days. Now think about it, for a guy, someone like in India to join, that's another 30 days minimum notice period. Which means that for someone to join, you need typically 3 months. 3 months is an insane amount of time, and that can impact business. The point is, time to hire is on the rise. Secondly, recruiting costs are escalating. If you look at Burson by Deloitte, they came out with a study which said that cost per hire in 2014 alone went up globally as much as $4,000 per hire. $4,000 per hire. I mean, clearly that's impacting business. Clearly that's a huge hit that talent leaders have taken in terms of their budget. And clearly they need to go out and optimize that budget. Now, while these two are huge problems for talent acquisition leaders, there's another one that they're currently facing. There's a very interesting study that Harvard Business Review did, and there's a beautiful blog on it out there, which says that 5 years back, the researchers went out and asked people whether it was a candidate's market or whether it was an employer's market. Now, 50% of respondents said it is an employer's market, and only 50% said it's a candidate's market. They kept doing this study every 6 months. The last study that they did in 2015, 90% of the recruiters said it's a candidate's market. It's no longer an employer's market. So you see, the trend clearly has shifted where employers were calling the shots to now candidates are calling the shots. Because talent is scarce, it's a resource, and everybody wants resources, especially in a market like India, where startups are mushrooming and really taking the cake away from established enterprises. So there is this war for talent looming. And along with this, you add the time to hire problem, you add the cost per hire problem, and the recruiters are only helter-skelter to find talent. So according to me, a lot of this happens because most of the firms are used to this particular method of recruiting, which is called inbound recruiting. And what I mean by inbound is, you go out there, a typical thing that you do when you get a rec is you raise a requisition and you push it on job boards, you push it on networks, you post it as job ads, and then you wait for the world to apply. And then when people apply, you see that the right guys are not applying. And what that tells you in today's market is, the guys that you really want are never going to apply. Because they're super happy doing things they love in companies they admire. The point is, if you've got to go after people that you really want, you clearly need to move from inbound to outbound. And when I'm saying you need to move from inbound to outbound, I've got substantial reasons for saying so. So if you look at India's market, right? India is a market which typically has close to 1.3 billion, which is our population, of which roughly 300 million are on the internet. And this is the number that Telecom Regulatory Authority of India gives out, right? Now, out of these 300, what's interesting to see is that just 80 million are white-collar professionals like you and me. 8 crore or 80 million are white-collar professionals like you and me. Interestingly, data on the internet says that all 80 million can be found online. They are on some network or the other. So if you look at it, Facebook has more than 115 million active users in India. You look at LinkedIn, they've got about 35 million plus. You look at Twitter, they've got 20 million plus. And then there are technology communities like, GitHub, Stack Overflow, for design, there's Scribble, for data scientists, there's Kaggle. My point being, people are hanging out at some platform or the other, just like the three of us are having a conversation with the community out there today. Like-minded people hang out at like-minded communities.
Yes.
And with the internet making things transparent and making the world flat, you now have access to all these 80 million candidates on a platform. You've got the chance to engage with them, and if you engage with them, what you need to do is you need to figure out what is exactly the kind of guy looking at. What is his persona? What is his style? Basis that, you can connect the dots. For his professional synopsis, you consider something like a LinkedIn or a Zing for that matter, right? For who he is like as a person, you probably want to figure out how he answers questions on Quora. You probably want to understand his personality on Twitter. If you're looking for tech programmers, you want to understand what kind of code he pushes on GitHub Stack Overflow. And because these are all publicly available data sets and profiles, you can quickly go ahead and analyze. So instead of going inbound, I think the time is now right for recruiters to go outbound and really follow that methodology where you say analyze, optimize, emphasize. Go ahead and figure out who are the rock stars you really want to hire. And then how can you use two things that are changing the game today? Two things that are really changing the game for recruiters are artificial intelligence and big data. If you can use artificial intelligence and big data, I think the time is pretty much right. I'll just leave it to you to have a few more questions.
Definitely, this is awesome. I guess so. I probably have never got in depth on how social relates to the recruitment and the entire workflow. But yeah, so that brings up the next question is, isn't that becoming challenging for recruiters as well? Because for them, they have to understand the platforms as well as to draw the persona of that profile. So how can they address it?
Yeah, I think it's simple, right? I mean, you start where it starts. So you look at typically, recruiting very much like sales. If you're looking at something, then you go to the guy who is the buyer, and the buyer in most cases here is the hiring manager. So you go to the hiring manager and tell me what kind of person you want. And more often than not, hiring managers will just say, "I want a guy who knows Ruby, Python, and SQL." But that is passing. I mean, gone are the days when you hire people based on tech skills. I mean, for any two people to come together, build something cool, or build a company, or a partnership, or even a movement or a revolution for that matter, they need to connect beyond just tech skills. Their ideas, ethos, mindset, persona, culture must align. Essentially, they must belong. So the question is, we spend about 70% of our lifetime working in companies. And there are a lot of people who love what they do. But actually, there are a lot more people who are really not in the right place, and they're not really not enjoying what they really do. And that move is really because they got hired at the wrong place. Now, there's an opportunity for that to be fixed, because if you see, there's a very interesting problem, which is for the first time the HR industry sees that there are multiple generations in the workplace. You've got the Gen X, you've got the Gen Y, and Gen Z or the iGens have just entered the workplace. And iGens are very different people. So, for example, millennials like you and me would typically hang out on Twitter, would typically, be there on Facebook, right? But if you see the new age kids, typically who are born after the 1995, well, they're there on Facebook and Twitter, but they hang out on Snapchat. They're more prone to discovering content on Instagram. Their perspective towards life is very different. And if you go and understand these perspectives, leaders who are building businesses in the future will really need to understand personas of people that they really need to bring on board and connect beyond these tech skills. I think if you start building at the top with the hiring manager and really taking into confidence, I think the internet can do a wonderful job of helping you find exactly the kind of people that you're looking for.
Oh, fantastic. So that again brings me to another question. So before I go there, on the audience, if you want to ask me a question, you can put the /Q on the comment and put a question. Or there is one more seat that is available. You can drop by. We'll open up that seat. You can ask the question live. And you should not mind giving the props to Aadil for all the wonderful answers that are coming in. So that's awesome, right? So that brings me to the next question. So in terms of, say, probably I look at my own brand, as take Mahindra. Isn't there a big learning curve for brands as well in terms of say the kind of talent we are looking at. We need to understand what platforms they are and say understand the technical aspect of it. So how can brands as big as us leverage the science behind music?
Oh, yeah, I think companies already are doing a fantastic job when it comes to leveraging talent from a social perspective, from a digital perspective. So you see, digital, social, and data were three elements that in the last 3 years have just taken off, and they've taken the world by storm. And everybody is trying to figure out, how do I crack this problem? How do I embrace this problem? And I think a lot of people, especially in the ITES sector in India, have risen to the occasion and solved this problem really well. But you see, the future is really about delighting candidates and delighting candidates at scale. And I'll give you a typical example of where there have been, where the world has seen huge mistakes that have been committed by human resources or business for that matter, because you work jointly towards hiring people. So I'll give you a couple of things. So there is this guy who a few years back, maybe 4 years back, went out there and he tweeted, and you can check this on Twitter once I give his name, it's all there. He went ahead and tweeted, just finished interviewing at Facebook, was a great experience, but didn't get hired. And then a couple of months down the line, the same guy went ahead and tweeted. He said, got dumped by Twitter. It was a great interview experience, though, but it would have been far from home anyways. Now, he apparently interviewed at half a dozen Silicon Valley companies. Got dumped everywhere. Didn't get selected at all. 3 years after that, this guy co-founded a company called WhatsApp that he sold to Facebook for $19 billion. The guy's name is Brian Acton. And if you look at his Twitter and just say Brian Acton Twitter, you'll see these tweets. And you see what that has done. I mean, there are a few things we measure in the world of talent acquisition. We measure cost per hire, we measure time to hire, we measure quality of hire, we measure turnover. In terms of cost per hire, this cost Facebook $19 billion. But you see, this problem looms in the industry because a lot of recruiters straitjacket it. In the sense, when you find a unique talent, when you find someone who's extraordinary, you just say, I don't have a role for it. You see, I'm looking for profile X with Y skills in this particular type of personality. But when you find someone who's very different, who's got bold ideas, passionate ideas, who wants to do something different, and he's far ahead from the curve, the point is organizations need to start thinking, how can I embrace this guy? How can I bring him on board? Because these are the kind of guys that can help me change the game. And I'm sure a lot of organizations have learned their lesson, and they're doing this. Because if you go back to Steve Jobs' ideology, he said the same thing. Right? He said, we were like square pegs in round holes. And these are the square pegs that you really need today, because they're going to go out and build stuff that is going to change the game for you. Which brings me back to my point. You need to do not candidate engagement. You need to embrace candidate delight. You need to delight talent at every step of the candidate process, because there are so much more people who want the same guy to stay. And with the kind of cost pressures that we are all into, and time to hire curve is shortening, I think this is extremely, extremely important.
That's a fantastic point you brought in, the cost pressure, right? The cost pressure currently for any brand is very high right now. So how is social or the digital or the new tech helping them bring down the cost pressure? Because end of the day, it is the term that every brand is looking at, how I can bring down my cost to hire. So because see, there is a cost to this entire learning curve. So are they analyzing this cost versus the cost to hire and say, okay, here it is helping me bring it down?
No, I think it's a fantastic question, Malhar. And I think what the world needs to understand is you need to stop doing stuff that you did in the past and think about how you can do things different and think about how you can do stuff at scale. I mean, gone are the days when you did stuff incrementally. You've got to bring in orbit shifting change. And how do you bring orbit shifting change, right? So, gone are the days when you brought in a guy, you trained him, and then he quit after 6 months or a year and took all the skills to the other organization and went off. Well, it's a good thing to train. I think what organizations need to invest in is social talent infrastructure. You put in the right infrastructure, technology that enable recruiters to find the best talent from day one. There are enough enterprise solutions out there in the market which are available, which can help you build a layer of social media intelligence right on top of your PeopleSoft or right on top of your HRMS. So you've got your HRMS layer here. On top of that, you've got typically, guy like a JobWhite or a Connexa or a SuccessFactors or a Teleo, which is your ATS today. But that ATS needs another layer on top of it, which is the social intelligence layer, which has today the ability to go out there and analyze your data, make sense of it, delight candidates at scale. And there are enough solutions in the market that allow you to do that. So long answer short is instead of investing in people, you continue to invest in people, but rather invest in infrastructure that enables them to be superstars. I have this analogy that I give a lot of people when we were kids, we used to play Mario as a game. I think HR's job should be to turn recruiters from Marios to Super Marios. So how do you enable him to get that mushroom so that he can go out there and do stuff like that? Because efficiency is the name of the game.
Absolutely. Right. So before I move on to the next question, Falguni, do you have anything?
Yeah, in fact, I just wanted to clarify, Aadil, that I am the one who does a lot of talking, but today there is some problem in my system. So there is too much of echo, so I am being just an observer and I am listening as much as I can from the echoes that I am getting. So sorry, today I am a little bit passive.
Hey, that's cool. That's not a problem at all.
Yeah. So I'm trying to gain whatever I can from whatever you are speaking.
Hopefully it all makes sense.
No, it is making a lot of sense. Yeah.
Right? So we have another 5 minutes to go. So from the audience, if you have a question, put it right now. We are taking a question Q&A right now. So moving on to the next one. So what would be the typical KPIs that brands should look at when they are implementing the new expect recruitment?
Yeah, it's an excellent question, Malhar. So the typical KPIs have always been the kind of so cost per hire for employee, time to hire, the number of days it took to hire. So you have X cost per hire and X time to fill already there, and then you just measure against that. But I think forthright thinking organizations today are setting team goals, not individual goals. And while time and cost are sure, they're important. Essentially, it's very important for you to link the kind of people you hire to the source that they came from. So if you hire a guy through a referral, can you go back 3 years ahead, 3 years down the line and say, these guys are rockstar performer? Versus a guy who you got from a job board, versus a guy who you got from a professional network, versus a guy who you got from a tech community, versus a guy who you got from a microblog. So can you actually link performance and productivity of people post they get hired and evaluate that year on year, and as big data steps in, then collectively analyze from this source for this particular bunch of skills are turning out to be absolutely remarkable. The guys that I'm hiring from this source are great, but you know what? They attract me to. So recruiters can then figure out, while this might be the immediate most attractive source, it doesn't help me in the long run because I've got to go ahead and start the process all over again because they'll attract into it. So then forthright thinking organizations are actually tying back sources, tying back recruiters, and tying back channels to performance and productivity, and bringing that all together in the form of a collective people-centric dashboard.
Okay, I have one question from Falguni that is there on the chat window. She's asking, the cost of recruiting from these schools is huge, and these are young people who are living on social media. Do you see a change happening here where companies leverage on social media profiles of the students?
Yeah, I think there are different ways, right? So currently there is the standard way where you go and you interact with the placement cell, and you have a relationship with the college where you have day zero, day one, day two, day three, and people get hired. But I think going forward, 5 years into the future, that is due to change because. Like I said, I don't think in the future people will be evaluated just on skills or on 5-minute interviews. Or even for that 1 hour interview, right? I mean, how much of a person can you really figure out is person X if you're just meeting him once for 1 hour, and then 5 of your colleagues meet him for 1 hour, and then you make a validated assessment. Sure, there are scientific behavioral pattern techniques also which are validated in nature, but I think this whole concept of realistic job previews is kind of coming to life. Also, if you see, the economy is kind of moving from globally permanent roles to eventually roles which are going to be contingent in nature or freelance in nature, because that's kicking in huge. So it really depends about how firms evolve and what kind of talent would they like to bring on board. Having said that, young and fresh talent is someone that you really want to beef up productivity of your firm and really out there and get guns blazing. So if you want to do that, I think the way we're going, students will get smarter. Even before they graduate, they'll have interacted with the right people at their dream organizations and secured a job or an internship, or for that matter, an intrapreneurial role. At the same time, forward-thinking hunters, as I call them, like you speak in the sales world, hunters will know who they want to go after, when they want to go after, and even before placement season strikes, I think they'll have got these guys invested into their companies for the long run. But it's exciting the way the future is going to evolve, and you never know what can happen.
Thank you.
Hey, awesome. So we have another 1 minute to go, Adil. So before we kind of log off for the day, what would be your final thoughts? And so after that, where can people reach you and connect back with you? Just to
Sure, I think three things that I think are changing the game for recruiters are today big data, candidate delight, and artificial intelligence. If you can embrace into these three, I think you'll be much ahead of the curve. In terms of how you can connect with me, I think I'm quite active on Twitter. My handle on Twitter is at Aadil. That's at AADIL. That's my name, at Aadil. You can connect with me on Twitter. I'm also quite active on LinkedIn. Again, my name is Aadil Bandukwala. Find me on LinkedIn. It's a pretty unique name, my last name, so you'll surely find me. Otherwise, if you'd like to see the kind of food that I'm into, you can follow me on Instagram. My handle is at Bandukwala. So that's my social site. Just love to eat.
Oh, super. And yeah, so we are almost hitting on our end. So thank you, Adil. Thanks so much for joining us and sharing your thoughts. This has been pretty different for me. As in, social digital has been on the marketing side. I can talk about anything or listen to anything. This is the first time I could relate it back to the HR thing and recruitment. Thank you and awesome thoughts. Stay connected.
So thank you so much, Manhar. Thank you so much, Falguni, for inviting me. Really appreciate you guys taking the time. I'm happy we got a chance to converse, and I hope we continue. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We'll keep interacting on social media.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.